house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Kevin Watkins. Thank you so much for your support on Patreon. You're awesome. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, just check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It only takes $1, right, Lucy? Yes. Okay, so yesterday was pretty crazy. So we had a Nikki meltdown yesterday. She was venting to Mitch because she had asked him if she could take She had asked him if she could take a bath in the HOH bathroom, and he said yes. So then she went and washed out the tub, got it all ready for herself. Then a few hours went by, she still didn't take her bath, and then she sees that Tim has made a bath for Cassandra. So she's just like, what the hell is that? And Tim gets like really defensive about it, and he's just like, I won the HOH fair and square. So he's like, this is not your bathroom, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So she didn't like the way that he was talking to her. So she was telling Mitch, like, I effing hate him. He could F off back to Australia. So it wasn't a good situation. So Raul was present for that freak out. And he went and told Cassandra about it as she was just lying there in the bathtub like a freaking queen. And they both thought it was hilarious. They were just laughing it up. And I thought that was like a little bit insensitive because they know that Nikki is like Nikki. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird. But Tim walks in and he's just like, oh, Nikki's such a selfish brat. And he is not afraid to call her out on that. Whoa. Okay, so then Nikki was crying out by the hot tub. Mitch was comforting her again. She was saying how she just wants to go home now. She's tired. She wants to be with her real friends. She's sick of this. So she also does not like the way that Tim talked to her. Like I said before, it wasn't just because she cleaned the tub and then didn't get to take her bath. It was also the way that Tim talked to her, and let's be real, it's because she's jealous again of Tim and Cassandra's friendship. So she is like crying and stuff, and then she walks over to that emergency exit door in the hot tub area, and she's like pushing on it, trying to get out, but it won't open. And then she's trying to freaking set off the fire alarm, and Mitch is all Willy Wonka like, no, don't. We'll get in so much trouble. They'll be so angry with us. So then the feed's cut. Who knows what happened after that? I'm assuming Nikki was called to the diary room immediately, but we'll come back to that. So Tim was chatting with the brothers yesterday, and he was really stroking their egos. So he was like, I think you guys are playing a really good game, and I want to see you win. So he said, like, in an ideal situation, he would go to the end with them and then bow out and just, like, let them win. So Phil was like, well, both of them were loving this conversation, but especially Phil. Is it just me, or does Phil totally have a crush on Tim? I'm not even kidding. He's like obsessed with Tim. And I think Phil is one of those people that just loves to have their ego stroked, of course. So then Tim is talking about how he doesn't want to see someone like Mitch win because he finds him really boring game-wise. He's just kind of flying under the radar, and you know, Tim loves, like, craziness, chaos. So he wants to see someone who's playing the game, like, in an aggressive way. So, of course, the brothers agree because Tim said it. So they're just like, yes. Okay. So then Jared and Mitch are having a strategy chat, and we find out that neither of them really want to win the HOH next week. I'm not surprised that Mitch would say that. I am a little surprised that Jared does not want to win HOH. He feels like he's kind of in the middle of the house right now, which I don't see at all. I feel like he's definitely on a side, but okay, if you say so. So then he's talking about how the highest risk HOH winner would be Maddie because he thinks she's coming after him, I guess. So then Jared was saying if I was HOH and I had the opportunity to backdoor someone, it would be the brothers. Interesting. All right, what are you doing? So Tim and Cassandra were chatting in the HOH room, and this is where things start to get a little interesting. Tim is like, what if you voted to evict Maddie, and you force a tie vote, and then, like, I still evict Dallas, but it'll look like we're not in agreement and we'll have like a fake falling out and throw everyone off. Everyone loves to do a fake fight on Big Brother. So Cassandra's just like, no, I don't think that's a good idea because it's going to mess up my deal with Maddie and Ramsey, and Maddie will still be in the house, so she'll definitely come after me. So Tim's like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. But he definitely wants her to keep emphasizing to everyone that they are not in agreement this week because he doesn't want people to think that they're as close as they are. All right, so then Cassandra, Dallas, and Joel were doing some scheming, and they even broke out the pasta with the initials on it. You gotta love a visual aid. I think it's really fun. So they were going through different scenarios, and Dallas was talking about how in his next pitch to Tim, I feel like he pitches to Tim like every few hours. He wants to tell him that he's gonna nominate Jared and Ramsey if he wins HOH, because that is what Tim wants to hear. So Cass is like, yes, that's great, but wait until tomorrow morning to talk to him because you can't do it right now. It's too much. You need to wait until it's closer. So then Cass is giving Joel and Dallas some inside info on Tim, which I thought was pretty interesting. She's telling them Tim is scared of keeping Dallas because that's kind of sending a message to Jared, like, we don't care if this person's coming after you. And it's basically going to pit them against each other, and Tim would be worried that Jared would come after them. So she lets them know that. I feel like maybe she should keep her mouth shut. I don't know. I don't know, maybe, whatever. Maybe it's kind of obvious. So then Dallas was campaigning, of course, to Mitch and Phil by the hot tub, and he's just like, it's the same stuff, but he's throwing everything at them. He's promising them the world, and he's all like, who's gonna take out Jared and Raul if it's not me? And of course, he's telling Phil, like, Maddie's coming after you and your brother, blah, 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 same stuff. So they're listening to all that, and then Dallas is called to the diary room. All right, so now that Dallas is out of there, this gives Mitch and Phil a chance to discuss the vote for the millionth time. So Phil is kind of campaigning for Dallas here. He's like, I'm going to be honest right now. I think it's better for my game to keep Dallas, but I will go with the group. So he's saying how he has this gut feeling that Maddie could win this game. What the F are you talking about? Who the hell would vote for Maddie in the end? I don't understand that at all. But then he was saying how he thinks that Maddie would be better in competitions than Dallas and not to underestimate her and all this stuff. I don't know about his reasoning on that. I think it would be better in some ways for him to keep Dallas, but for the reasons that he gave, that is weak sauce. So then they talk through the pros and cons, and it's just like pretty much the same conversations we've been hearing all week. So then they talk about some other game-related stuff. Phil is telling Mitch, like, I'd love for you to go and talk to Tim one-on-one so we can kind of, like, maybe all work together, figure something out. And then Mitch gives Phil a little piece of information. He's like, you can't tell anyone this, obviously. And he did not hear this himself, but he heard it from somebody else. That Tim was talking to Jared about backdooring the brothers this week. So Phil's just like, wait, what? That's interesting. Because you know that Phil, like, worships Tim. All right, so this conversation was interrupted when Jared came outside and Phil went inside. So Jared and Mitch had a little chat, and they were talking about how they do not want it to be a tied vote because Tim is such a wild card. He could just decide out of the blue, like, you know what, I'm going to shake things up and I'm going to keep Dallas, and that would really screw them over. So they really want to make sure that it's going to be like a 5-3 vote or something. So they're going to work on that. All right. Now, this is where things get really crazy. So, Tim, Cass, and Phil were all talking outside, and Tim is starting to wonder, should we keep Dallas? Here comes that gut feeling again. He's like, you know, I really want to play this game with people that I respect, and he definitely respects Dallas over Maddie as a game player, and Phil's just like, yeah, Maddie's a little F-head. Well, I mean, he said the real thing, and that was a lot. But Tim was like, yeah, I respect Dallas as a player. I want to see people playing this game, like, learning lessons along the way. And he doesn't feel like Maddie is learning from her mistakes. So he's thinking maybe he will get rid of her and keep Dallas. What? So it looks like the tide could be turning here. There's a lot of chatter around the house about the vote this week. The main concern, really, with keeping Dallas most people are just thinking, like, if we keep him, that would definitely send Jared the message that we're against him, because Dallas has said so many times that he's going after Jared, and that would ruin a lot of relationships with Jared. You'd be burning a lot of bridges, so it's a big concern. So this morning, Dallas was in the HOH room with Tim. He was getting ready to make his pitch with all of his little macaronis, and try to map things out, and Tim is just like, Dallas, you're staying. And Dallas is just like, wait, what? He's so excited. So Tim's explaining, like, I respect you as a player. I don't like playing this game, like, with fear or whatever. I don't know. You know how Tim gets. So he's like, this is what needs to happen. Dallas, you are not going to come after me, Cass, or Nick and Phil until Jared, Raul, and Ramsey are all gone. After those three are gone, it's fair game. You can do whatever you want. But until then, you cannot come after us. So Dallas is like, freaking yeah, absolutely. So then he's like, do you want to, like, make some sort of final 5, 3, whatever number deal? And Tim is just like, maybe later on. We don't have to do that right now. So the other condition, do not tell Maddie, because he wants this to be a surprise. He wants to keep this a secret. He wants that freaking shock factor for this whole eviction. So Dallas is like on cloud 9 right now. He's really excited. So then Tim goes and apologizes to Nikki for freaking Bathgate, and basically he's like, it was a misunderstanding. I didn't know that you didn't take your bath yet, blah, 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 blah. So she's still really pissed about the way that he talked to her, but he's like trying to cheer her up, and he's like, guess what? Dallas is staying this week, and she's just like, do you really think she cares about the game? Because I don't. But anyway, meanwhile, Jared is telling Maddie that she has the votes to stay this week. But Maddie, she knows it's going to be a close vote. She's noticed that a lot of people have been campaigning for Dallas this week, so she's like, guess what? If Cass votes against me, that deal's going to be off. If Cass votes against you, you're probably going home, so it won't matter. But anyway, Jared is starting to figure out that Dallas could be staying this week, and things are getting intense because Dallas is coming after him, and Jared is just like, he's got to go. Got to get rid of him. So he's like snapping at Cassandra because he knows that Cassandra has been campaigning for Dallas, and there's just like a lot of tension there. So Jared and Mitch are trying to figure out like where they can get these votes to keep Maddie in the house and get rid of Dallas, and they're like, Joel, brothers, like they're going to be making moves tonight to try and confirm some votes here. So at the same time, Dallas is going around the house. He's all like, I'm walking on sunshine. And he's trying to solidify things with his potential votes. So he's like setting up deals with Nikki. He's like reassuring the brothers like we're all good. And it's looking like he could be staying. But anything can happen. The eviction is not until tomorrow. And that is like years in Big Brother land. Also tomorrow we have either Kelsey or Levita coming back. So they're going to get to leave that suite where they've been friggin' planning things out with nail polish and bread. That is so sad. So one of them will be coming back into the house. Let me know, who do you guys think is going home tomorrow and who's going back in? And until then, much love.
Edit.